That's exactly what I've been looking for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That'll keep me going all right. Well, hey there, partner. Come take a look at this. Look at this, my friend. Tobacco. Nature's gift to us all. Focuses the mind like nothing else.
Whatever you say.
Well, I say, why buy it off the shelves when you can make your own? Well, plenty left here if you're interested. I'd best keep moving.
Yep. Easy there. Knock, knock, Mr. Robe.
Przepraszam, co pan robi w moim domu?
English? You speak English?
Me, Silesia.
Yeah, good
Up
for
there,
you.
Silesia.
I'm here for money. You borrow from a German man?
Aha, German. Mein Herr, sprechen the Kaiserreich.
I don't speak German neither. I'm here for money. Money that you borrowed from Leopold Strauss.
Leopold Strauss.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So it's time to pay. Where is it?
One. No have nothing. It's very bad winter.
We've all had a bad winter, pal. Where is he?
Oh, no. No, nie, nie.
Now, you remember where you're keeping that silver?
Potrzebuję trochę czasu. Znajdę ci pieniądze.
Oh, still don't understand you. God damn it! You have a debt to Herr Strauss. Pay up!
Stop! Już nie mam siły. Nie, nie!
Fuck, pay up, huh?
No, 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 no. Please, no. Don't have money, but I have this. It's good. It's good. It's valuable. It's Warszawa, yes.
I have your things. Okay? I have anything in here or out there.
Yes. Very valuable. Good?
Not good yet. Better be something somewhere. You must have come here with something. Longer I look, the madder I get.
Oh, shit.
Don't even speak English.
No, 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 no.
Yes, 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 yes.
Dobra, shit. No, wait.
What you got behind there?
Co? Przepraszam, nie rozumiem.
Move aside.
Prusakom nie można ufać. Amerykańcom też.
What do we have here?
Moja obrączka, nie!
Just keep quiet. Okay, that should about cover things.
To zabrałeś już prymitywie, idź precz! Jestem zrujnowany, zrujnowany.
Good boy.
Fuck's my voice?
Yeah. There, boy. Huh. There we go. Yeah. Here you are, boy. Okay, boy. Let's go. Yep. Yep.
too much potent whiskey, like waves on the Bay of Biscay. I began to tumble and roar. My face is red like a lobster. I fell and broke my poor knobster. My watch from my fob was picked, sir. I'll never get drunk anymore. Ooh. Wait, there's more. I'm resolved to try it. I'll live on a moderate diet. Die by the poker and bells. Anymore.
Hey.
The Lord blesses us this morning.
A drink in your hand. What a surprise.
Just a swift one?
Well, it's your life, not mine.
Yep, and all right.
How did you get on, Herr Morgan?
Called in on the smallholder, Roble. Didn't even speak English.
Good, very good.
My pleasure.
Well, if it's pleasure you're after, there is one other. This farmer preacher fellow I met in Valentine, Mr. Downs.
The opinionated little do-gooder? Yeah, I know the one. I certainly know the type.
Thank you, Herr Morgan.
There's no need to thank me. Like you said, it's pleasure I'm after.
He's more slippery than he seems. I've tried being polite. Don't take any nonsense.
Nonsense? Me?
If he doesn't have the money, beat him.
Well, I usually do.
I know. I know.
Yep.
begins now by being hopeful and happy. So cheer up! All of you, cheer up!
Dear Arthur, I've written this letter 100 times or more, and I cannot get it right. It's me. You know it's me from the bad handwriting. I know I said when we last spoke, and I was going off to get married, that we would not speak again. I know I said a lot of things, and I meant them, I suppose, at the time. But I'm not so proud as to not speak to people who care for me, or cared for me. I've been in Valentine for a couple of months. I had some bad luck, and, well, it's a long story and not an interesting one. But I am here for now. I saw a couple of the girls, or whatever the polite term is for them, that ran with you and your associates in town. And I heard tell of a man who sounded like you. I would love to see you again. If you could spare me a little bit of your time. I'm renting a room at Chadwick Farm, just north of Valentine. Yours, Mary Linton.
Good morning, Arthur.
What's wrong? Thought you'd be happy to be off that mountain.
Oh, I don't know.
You ain't been yourself for a while. Okay, I'll catch you later then.
All right then, Arthur.
Boy. Yeah.
¡Malditos pumas! ¡Ay, mierda! ¡No me quedan balas! ¡Ay, Dios mío!
Damn, is he dead?
Shit.
Run him down! Stay on him! May you be a lesson to anyone else that comes at the Omega!
The Old Boys Club in StarCraft 2, it felt to me like it was really hard to like break into, I guess. For whatever reason, I don't know why. Maybe I was a different person back then, but like all of like the big and top Twitch streamers right now in that kind of like group all seem like really cool and like really welcoming, I guess. Like when I talk to like Chance or Greek or XQC or any of those guys, I never get like this vibe of like I'm too good for you or I'm like too cool for you or whatever. I never get that vibe. Or like Nim, like all of those guys are super cool. Even like, well, I say even like it's a bad thing, but like even like Raj the Patel and stuff, like in person, seems like a really cool dude. Yeah, I really like all of those dudes. I'm really happy that I got to talk to them as much as I did.
All right, let's.
Good work, hard worker. I'm a great fucking citizen. So, we live at 10:44 a.m. on a Saturday. Wait, it's the weekend. All right, I gotta go. What the fuck? I forgot it was the weekend. Peace.
Significant event on the 21st in Sweden.
Massive last night. Yeah.
Oh God, is this the rape gangs shit or whatever?
Look, Sweden has got problems. Europe has problems. They definitely do. And whenever you have people from one culture that immigrate into another culture and they're disenfranchised and poor, and they have a really, I'm gonna keep going with it. And they also have a really restrictive, fucked up culture that they're coming from, and they want to impose that culture on the people that live in Germany or wherever, and they want women to start wearing long dresses, and they treat them like they're whores if they don't. That's all fucking real dangerous. They're from a different part of the world, and it's a part of the world that hasn't changed much in a long time. And that part of the world, I mean, you could call it culture, you can call it religious tradition, but whenever you're...
That hasn't changed much in a long time. Like 50, 60 years ago, like segregation was still legal in the United States. Like, how long do people think we've been like the great progressive beacon of the world? Like, I don't understand. Do people think that like Christianity in America have been like the, like, I mean, like, fucking gay marriage was just okayed by the Supreme Court, what, like a decade ago? Supreme Court ruling gay marriage. I don't even think it was, not even a decade. Holy shit, it was only 4 years ago? 3 years ago? Oh my god, okay, my bad. So even more recent than that. Jesus Christ. So like, I don't, like this idea, like people look at like the West as like, do they think that we've always been what we are today? Like, okay, I don't know.
Part of the world that still has honor killings and female genital mutilation, and you don't let women drive, and women aren't allowed to vote, and you have this incredibly restrictive world that you're existing in, and then you bring that world somewhere else.
No brawling this time, all right?
And you're seeing that, and this is you know.
Destiny, aren't you strumming here? Regardless of the moment, our societies are much more progressive. Joe Rogan never made a history argument. No, but the problem is where you're leading the argument. Right now, I would take any Western society over any Muslim society, probably. There might be some Western societies that are worse than some Muslim societies, but in general, yeah, I would say Western culture is probably a million miles ahead
Don't think I've seen you around here
than
before.
most Islamic cultures. But the implication that these people are somehow stuck and can never change is hilariously fucking stupid. Like, that's so dumb. Like, we've come so far in a pretty short amount of time, in less than is a century 100 years, or is that a millennium? Millennium or 1,000 years? Like a century? Like in like half a century, like we've changed so fucking much. This country to a 70-year-old person is almost unrecognizable. Like if you look at some of the baby boomers and the way that they look at progressive culture today, like our values are almost unrecognizable. I don't think that's what he implied. If you're going to be that fucking stupid, I can't talk to you. That is absolutely the implication. When people talk about other people immigrating to other countries and destroying those countries, the implication is that those people are going to bring their culture and they're not going to change at all, and they're going to bring their fucked up values and they're going to destroy wherever they go. That is absolutely the implication. I mean, if you don't see that, I don't know how, like, that is absolutely the implication when people talk about Muslims immigrating to other countries. They're bringing all their problems and all their fucked up culture, and they're going to infect the new place, and they don't want to change, and they don't want to integrate, and they don't want to ever like change into what the Western values of today are. That's absolutely, because people will bring up things like they can never change because either they're brown, they've got some genetic basis, or they can't change because Muhammad fucked a 9-year-old and Islam is poisoned from the roots. Is a religion of peace? Ha ha.
Has done anything good for America?
Thinking about it, I can
maybe
see.
unintentionally. Like, Joe never said they can never change. Maybe Joe himself doesn't exactly, but this is the same line of thought that most people that make these arguments would use.
To be free and using him, and then you bring
not to mention that half the shit that he brings up is kind of stupid because we still do it anyway, right? Like the mutilation of female genitals. Okay, well, I mean, we still chop up boys' little baby dicks here in the United States. We do that shit all the fucking time. I think it might still be the majority. That might have switched recently. So I mean, like, we still have our own genital mutilation that goes on for religious reasons, and then we have and then in terms of like shaming women if they wear the wrong things, conservatives do that shit all the fucking time in the United States. What do you mean? Like, we constantly deride women for wearing and showing too much. Like, we do it on fucking Twitch. We do it, like, Lauren Southern makes fun of that one woman for saying she was objectified. Like, all sorts of conservatives do this shit all the fucking time and then turn around and criticize Muslims for doing the same thing. Like,
bring that world somewhere else.
There you are.
And this is you know. If you
female genital mutilation is nothing like male circumcision. Don't bring up shit you know nothing
You're that
about.
fellow who had to fight with Tommy outside of Smithfield?
I can't tell if you're trying to trigger me or not, my dude.
People
my
are still
dude!
talking about that
You want to
fight.
ut up a little baby boy's dick? Probably not a good thing to do. I'll just end it on that, all right?
Anyway, how can I help you today?
To be free, and you want people to have the ability to integrate into a more free culture like America is. You also have to be honest about what the consequences are, and you have to be honest about what kind of culture they're coming from. And as soon as you talk about that, you get labeled an Islamophobe. As soon as you talk about this incredibly restrictive, misogynistic culture,
do you think American military intervention fucked those countries up culturally?
I mean, for places like Iran, you could argue possibly, sure. I don't know all the U.S. history of intervention around the world. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of fucked up shit. Destiny, go to Sweden and then come back to this topic. Okay, my dude.
Ancient series of rituals and beliefs, you become a
Go
racist
ahead.
and a bigot. By
Well, I'm sure you'll be back.
Like, you're not a race.
Morning, friend.
Oh, God, and he's talking to this guy? Okay, so everything I just said, amplify it a million times more. No, I'm not even going to watch the rest of it. Oh, yikes. So, Okay, so to everybody that just said, oh no, they're way worse on fucking women, blah, blah, blah.
Gavin McInnes made a...
I don't want to watch your fucking reaction video.
There's a part of me that says, oh, I love Hillary. I love Hillary. Oh, yes, we can. Obama. There's like liberals are sort of like zombies.
An appeal is not a legitimate
Washington Free Beacon, which is a legitimate newspaper. Yeah.
Look out.
Women should be at home with the kids.
Are you
They're happy. Choose to. They would rather go to their daughter's piano recital than stay all night at work.
No evidence of this, and it's just not true.
Okay, so this is going to be somebody that's going to rail on Muslims for having regressive values towards women, by the way.
It actually is true.
No, it's not. Washington Free Banana Peel is not a legitimate
Washington Free Beacon, which is a legitimate newspaper. Yeah. There's different ways to look at the data, but the big picture here is women do earn less in America because they choose to. They would rather go to their daughter's piano recital than stay all night at work working on a proposal.
What?
So they end up earning less. They're less ambitious, and I think this is sort of God's way. This is nature's way of saying
this is Gavin McInnes. Yes.
Should be at home with the kids. They're happier there.
I hope that your viewers do not take you, sir, seriously.
There's a great book you should read. It's called Why Men Earn More, and it's all about women choosing to put family over work, and that's why they earn less.
Having a choice does not mean that you're less ambitious, and your comments are absolutely deplorable. Sean, I would like you. I would like you to adjust it. You're a father. You have a daughter.
If you were a real feminist, you would support housewives and see them as the heroes. You said
that women are less ambitious. You have also said that women are better suited in the home.
Yes,
You've also said
a collar for you.
Hello, Arthur.
Mary?
I heard you and your friends was around.
Okay. Where's what's-his name?
Died.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, me too. Happened a while ago. Pneumonia.
Bad business.
Sure.
So, well, you've been made a widow and you come here looking for me, is that it?
No, ain't like that, Arthur.
Oh, okay.
My family. I need your help.
You mean the family that always looked down on me? You want me to help them?
It's my little brother, Jamie.
I always liked Jamie, at least compared to the rest of them.
He's broken Daddy's heart.
Daddy has a heart.
Don't make me beg you, Arthur.
My money, my life, me. I wasn't good enough.
I'm sorry. We need your help real bad. Little Jamie's joined the Chelonians, that strange religious order.
Good for him.
They're quite mad, Arthur. They'll kill him. You're the only person he'd listen to.
So, I'm too rough to marry into your family, but it's okay to ask me to help in saving your family.
I'm sorry. I understand if you don't want to help me, but I think of you often.
Long time ago now.
I'm begging you, Arthur.
I say let Jamie live Jamie's life and not the nightmare that his daddy dreamed up for him.
Jamie's so innocent, Arthur. Please, Arthur. Will you help me?
Nah, bitch.
Where is he?
Somewhere out near Carmody Dell, I think. The rancher there said he'd seen him around the Cumberland Forest area. I just want him back, Arthur. If you find him, bring him to me at the station.
I'll see what I can do.
I'll owe you.
You already owe me. Come on, boy.
that, let's see, that women are emotional and women shouldn't run for public office. All of these things that just
I never said women shouldn't run for public office.
Yes, you have. You've said
if we're
that
talking
before.
about...
Hold on.
Do you think that mothers and fathers do and should play different roles for children?
I don't know. It depends on what you mean by that.
50% of the population, generally out of this 250 million people or 150 million people, most women are happier at home. They are pretending that they like working, and they're not making money because they don't stay all night at the office. They don't go the extra mile. They don't work all weekend. You're making a mistake. You would be much happier at home with a husband and children.
Oh, boy.
People in America do not degrade women anywhere near the degree that Muslims do in the Middle East. I don't know why that's so hard for you to understand. Because it's not about the degree to which you do it. It's about the thought process that you employ to get there. And that's my problem. My problem is that conservatives in the United States, if they weren't so fucking racist, would actually see Muslims as a huge ally in all of the insanely regressive views that they push socially. But because you guys don't 100% line up on your conclusions, and because you're so obsessed with hating somebody whose skin is a few shades darker than what you're comfortable with, you will never understand that point. That's what's fucking hilarious to me. You have three kinds of people, okay? Somebody that says, hey, you know, woman should probably be able to wear what she wants, and you probably shouldn't objectify her as long as she's not being like, as long as you're not like raping fucking people, doing like some crazy fucking shit or pissing on someone in public, right? As long as you keep yourself, you should be fine to wear what you want. And then I guess maybe don't show badgers in public. It's probably okay, right? So like, you have that person, then you have two other people. One person says, a woman that shows any fucking skin or whatever is fucking disgusting, and she needs to cover her hair, and if she's not, then anything that happens to her, it fucking deserves to be happen. And then the other person says, women can show their hair and stuff, but if you're wearing like slutty two-piece suits or short shorts that are too short, or you twerk in public, or you have a crop top that shows too much cleavage, then you deserve anything that happens to you, right? These two people are much closer aligned to one another than the person who says, hey, you know, maybe women should be able to wear what they want, you know, as long as they're not fucking naked, like, I think we're cool, right? The fact that you sit there and equivocate and quibble over, well, actually, Destiny, you know, Muslims want them to wear a little bit more, and, you know, they're more violent in a lot of parts of society, which is generally true, is fucking insane to me. Like, your thought processes are very close together, and I don't understand how you can't see that, right? Like, your thought processes are almost aligned. The difference is where you draw the exact line at.
Oh,
I mean, I'm literally shaking.
You just said you're single. You don't have a boyfriend. You're
That's my
celibate.
choice.
Yeah, look, you're miserable. You would be so much happier with kids around you tonight. Imagine coming home. Mommy's home.
You know what, Gavin? You're not funny. You're not what you do not do anything.
I'm trying to make you happy.
You do not do anything for the better. Sean, this isn't funny.
Feminism has made women miserable. Women were much happier when housewives were glorified.
I had a choice to be married, and I chose not to. I have a choice to have kids.
You made a mistake. We'll give you the last word. Go ahead.
I think that your guest here is doing a disservice.
Like, I don't know. This is the same guy who founded an all-male group, the Proud Boys.
If brown cultures are so great, why do they reject modern progressive ideals and still live in single-story buildings?
I don't understand what that means. I've heard about the Proud Boys, that it's supposedly some racist alt-right, but I haven't read about them, so I reserve judgment until I've actually read, just because I want to make sure I'm not getting... I'm like so hesitant. There are a couple of like things that I don't trust anymore. When I see stuff posted to Vox, I don't know, I don't trust anything posted there anymore. I've seen too much that I don't think is correct. Yeah, though, because the idea is that the men force the women to wear those clothes in the Middle East, etc. As far as conservatives saying women shouldn't wear X or Y is only their opinion. We aren't forcing women to wear X or Y in the United States. The choice is removed from Muslim women. I think that's the problem. But the thing is that you're wrong there, and you're wrong on levels that are so deep that you don't even understand it. There are Islamic women that wear the hijab or wear burqas and love wearing them. They wear them because they think it's a celebration of their femininity, and they wear them because they think that it's genuinely something that is virtuous to do in society. And the fact that you can't see that because you're incapable of critically analyzing your own culture or your own motives for doing things, like, is so bad. Like, you can talk to Islamic women, you can find Muslims, and you can find them, and you can find women that do things, that will wear things, and they actually genuinely think it's a good thing to do because it's part of their religion, because it's part of their culture, et cetera, right? Much the same that in the United States, you can find women that won't wear two pieces, blah, 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 because they think that it's good, right? These are the same women that grow up and they are too fucking ashamed to wear a shirt that shows their belly button because they think that it makes them a fucking slut or a whore. Now, in terms of, in Muslim society, do women get punished more than they would in American society? In general, that's probably true. I don't know in places like Indonesia and shit if that's like always necessarily true. For instance, there are people who get raped in the United States, depending on, and people will fucking blame them depending on what they're wearing or their behavior is. And there are some more progressive Muslim countries than others, right? Like for instance, in Indonesia, they're a lot better there with the rights of women as opposed to Saudi Arabia. I'm comfortable saying, I think in general, that Muslim countries are probably harsher on women than in Christian countries, sure. But the thing is, the thought process is the same. That is the only thing I will ever fucking care about is the thought process, because that's what's going to predict future outcomes, right? Probably what... Oh, shit. Hold on. This guy is... Okay. Your point is mega supported by the amount of liberal feminists today celebrating hijabs and shit. It's one of the most complicated issues for me because I do think these conventions are overall worse for women, but there are so many women today that celebrate it. You have to think in terms of social conditioning. Yeah, the social conditioning is what makes things like really fucking complicated, sure. The idea, right, the idea for a perfect society is that you want people to make the choices that they're going to with as little pressure as possible. So if somebody chooses to wear a hijab, that's okay. But you don't want them to choose the hijab because they've been led their whole life to believe that if they don't wear it, they're an adulterous whore that is undeserving of like a husband or a family, right? It's really, really, really fucking complicated. Comparing Christianity and Islam is insane. Not even close. I'm gonna get triggered if I have this argument. Oh my god, I'm gonna get so fucking triggered if I have this argument. I don't want to do it. Christianity is so much better, guys. My bad. Oh god, there's too many fucking Harris fanboys, Peterson fan. Oh god, what happened to the fuck? When I was growing up, the Four Horsemen and all that shit were always like atheists or whatever. Like people, the edgy thing for all the like the new kids and shit was to be like an atheist, like fuck Christianity. But now the new edgy thing, all of the new heroes that you worship because you're lost in life, because you have no purpose, because you have no self-esteem, because you have no confidence. Now the new people that you all worship are people that suck off Christianity. It's so mind-blowing to me. Like even Harris, who's an atheist and spends like a decent amount of time like sucking off Christianity, will sit there and hold up like Judeo-Christian values and shit over like Islamic values and shit. And now you've got like your Jordan Peterson types and all these people today that like worship like the young conservatives that are also religious. It blows my mind how like Christianity is like taken over. Like Harris is one of the 4%. Yeah, he is. Yeah, it's insane to me. I don't know. I wonder when that turning point happened, when it became like retro cool or whatever to start like worshiping Christianity again. That's insane to me. Holy fuck. Do you think that the New Testament is as bad as Islam? So the reality is, religion, it's neo-reactionary stuff. Yeah. So religion is an incredibly fucking. Oh, sorry. Hold on. I skipped the donation. Fucking your IP ban, you Muslim liberal apologist. Stay mad, dude. So the fact is that religions play out in society. Religion is like it's like genetics versus society that's like environment. One can't exist without the other, and to pretend that one can exist without the other is insane. Genes don't exist without an environment, and then an environment is worthless without genes to express themselves in, right? I mean, how you look at it, right? So like. Religion doesn't dictate behavior. It's just another influence in society, and there are a million different ways that religion plays out in societies, and anybody that's part of any religious anything should be able to agree with this. Like, if you're a Christian, you know, you're not the same type of, if you're a Catholic or a Baptist or a Lutheran or a Protestant or whatever, right? Huh? Like, you're going to be way different than, I guess it would be Catholic versus Protestant and all the other, right? If you're any of these groups, you're going to be way different than any other group of people, right? The fact that you're all Christians is you would never summarize all Christians having the same beliefs. Much the same in Islam, right? If you're a Sunni, if you're a Shia, or any other number, I don't know how many fucking hadiths exist in Islam, right? It's going to be totally different. And then even Shias and Sunnis in different communities are going to be different from one another. The same way that Catholic parishes are going to be different than one another. Like, when people try to summarize or try to generalize, like an entire billions of people under the same religious dogma and try to say that all these people have the same beliefs is fucking insane to me.
For your future. $1 for your fate.
Take this.
I don't care.
You must decide between your
Have you ever
past
been
and
near people with
others'
this culture,
future,
Islam?
friend.
Actual question.
Decide,
Nope.
for
I've been near a
soon
whole
it
lot
will
of
be
fucking
too late.
Christians though, and Jesus fucking Christ, do I
sure.
fucking
Okay,
hate them.
mister.
I would probably
All
feel
the
the same
best
about
now.
Muslims. If I don't like religious people. Period. No, let me be more clear. I don't like the religious
waste
aspect
any
of
more
people.
time
I think all
with an
religions are
old
fucking
blind
stupid.
man.
Okay?
Go
You're
out
fucking
there and
Muslim,
become
your shit
who
is
you
fucking
are.
whack, okay? The fact that you worship some Allah dude that fucked 9-year-olds is fucking stupid. However, if you're Christian and you think some dude fucking got buried in the ground and then became like a power lifter and moved some boulder and climbed out of a fucking cave, you're bad as stupid, okay? You're very fucking close, alright? So, like, the idea of playing like whose invisible man is stronger than the other invisible man is like two kids arguing about whose dad could beat the other dad up. I don't give a fuck about any of it, okay? My only problem, now, if you're an atheist, you want to sit here and you want to shit on religious people, fucking God bless you, okay? Man, if you're an atheist and you want to go ham on all these dumb fucking religious people, fucking do it with my blessing, okay? Amen for it, brother. But if you're a Christian and you want to sit here and shit on another person's invisible man, oh man, oh no, my dude, I'm sorry. Because if you're gonna open up that bag of worms, when you've got your own fucking stupid set of beliefs that you follow, when you're sitting there crying because the 10 Commandments aren't posted in some building, or you're crying because there aren't enough fucking churches, or some whatever dumb shit Christians fucking complain and cry about, that enough people don't fucking pray or put their dick on the fucking Bible when they go to rape some kid in some Catholic fucking school, right? No, holy shit. If you are religious, the grounds that you have to stand on for criticizing other people's religious belief is very, very fucking tiny, okay? It became cool because people realized how A-word religion was, so even young people now who identify as religious views are much less extreme than their older Christians. So kill gay Christians are edgy. Okay.
Thanks, Destiny. I now have your permission to send death threats to religious people.
Nope, I never said that.
Feels good, man.
You do know that just because female genital mutilation and circumcision are both done to the genitalia don't make them analogous, right?
Hi.
They're absolutely analogous. Most types of female genital mutilation are worse than male genital mutilation, but the thought process is the exact same. I'm gonna go slice up my kid's fucking genitals for some reason that's probably not medically substantiated.
Harris says the progress in the West that's happened fighting against Christian dogmatism not because of it.
Cool.
You don't want to get me angry, boy.
You're too slow, old man.
What about being a deist, milady?
Yeah. Last chance to save your hide. Stop!
Money's mine. I'm keeping it.
I will leave an exception. Non-theistic religions.
You make me go much further, I'll get more than a debt off you.
There are 4 types of female genital. Yeah, there are 4. Yes, there are 4 types of female genital mutilation. That's like the
More
worst
I
one.
chase,
2, I think, are
the
less
more you owe.
So do you think people will be okay with this? No, people won't.
no, you
any
don't.
Female genital mutilation because there's more stigma surrounding it than male genital mutilation, which has been normalized in our society, and it's disgusting that it has been. There are the way that the different types of female genital mutilation are measured have to do with how much of the clitoral or the clitoris are removed. The clitoral hood or the clitoris are removed. But there are some that literally are just like a shaving of like the clitoral hood that would be comparable to male genital mutilation, right? Which is the removal of the foreskin. And arguably, like I'm pretty sure at least one type. I don't know if there are 2 types, but there is at least one type of female genital mutilation that is less extreme than excising the entire foreskin from the human penis, the male penis. Wow, faked out. Thanks for gifting subs, buddy. They're only becoming Christian because they're ideologically anti-SJW and they ironically view Christianity as anti-SJW. That's true. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Do you think there's anything remotely sound in the argument that it just looks better? No, of course not. If you want to get it as an adult, sure, but...
Okay, boy. Yep. Yeah, good boy.
Destiny doesn't understand the notion behind circumcision. Please explain it to me. Here's the notion. The notion is, I've got a dick. Now I've got a son. I hope his dick looks like mine. Cut him up! That's the notion. What more is there?
This sums up religion for me.
Is circumcision mostly an NA thing? Yes, in America, we circumcise the fuck out of our people.
11 months later.
But I think the trend is recently reversed in the United States. Dude, circumcision can be performed for health reasons. Some doctors recommend it. Yeah, and so can amputation. What kind of a dumb fuck argument is that? You think that the 70% of fucking males that are circumcised in the US were done for health reasons? That's so fucking stupid.
I always thought it was the butterfly trying to take all of our foreskin. Thinking.
I mean, yeah, there are cases of like extreme I think phimosis, and then farinum breve or something when the is it the farinum or the I don't know frenulum or however it's pronounced this.
Okay. I love all of you in the Twitch chat. Goodbye, everybody. I'll be back tonight, tomorrow. Never forget that I am just an idea and I'm in your hearts and I'm cringe and I love.
Shut the fuck up. Get out of here.
Bye.
If you're a girl in my chat, don't ever identify yourself as such, because there are like 4 people that will message you to incorporate you into their collection of women. All right, wait, are those people still in my community?
Yep.
No, Lizward actually wasn't one of those people. There's like 3 or 4 of you guys that have to be friends with. Oh, actually, I think these people, because I think I bullied them so hard, I think most of these people have left the community. But there were like 3 or 4 people where like when you would, like if you wanted to find out if someone in chat was a girl, you would actually stalk one of these other guys and you would find out if they'd talk to them. Because there are these guys and all they would do is they would only talk to like every girl in the chat. I don't remember their names, but I remember that like, yeah, I always remember that I would like I would stalk like some of these guys like, oh, I wonder if this chat is a girl. And I'd stalk one of the guys and then I'd control up the girl's name and they'd have like 400 messages like, oh, yep, that's it. That's them. Yeah, I remember that. I don't understand. It feels like rent controls seem so fucking dumb to me. They just seem so bad. I don't understand it. I feel like man, fuck. Maybe we should spend like 8 hours reading about like property prices and shit in San Francisco and LA. I guess like, and this is like taking like a really simplistic Econ 101 approach. Is it not possible to zone more and build more houses? Like, I have a hard time believing that housing prices in San Francisco and LA and shit are so expensive because people are just jacking up the rent. It feels like they're expensive because there's a fuck ton of people that want to live there. Like, why can't more houses and shit be zoned and built? Is that, like, impossible? Destiny, people don't want more houses? Well, fuck those people, right? Like, better to zone more houses and fuck the people and make them a little upset. If anything, that's good. If anything, that's beneficial. If you zone more houses and there are people that don't want them there, then that should decrease the demand. Those people could fucking move. Those people can go fucking somewhere else then. Go to fucking Oregon. Go to, where's the place in Oregon that everybody from California, Portland. Go live in fucking Portland or some shit if you don't want to look at houses everywhere. Get the fuck out of California. Like, it seems like they need more residential zoned areas and people need to live there. If you don't want houses, then go fucking move somewhere else. Maybe it'll reduce the demand for dumb fucks like that. Like, fuck, I don't know. Are there no Nimbers in Omaha? Not to my knowledge. I guess there could be. I don't know, but we don't have housing problems here. We've got flight problems here. In the Midwest, your problem is you're typically trying to keep people from leaving.
Always gotta be such a goddamn performance with you. Now, I told you I'd get you the money next week, and I'll get it.
If you didn't make it this week, who's to say you'll make it next?
Don't you take that tone with me. I thought you said you loved me.
I do, but what I get paid ain't enough for one person, let alone two. Your money's gotta be your problem now.
The only problem I got is this bleating going on in my ear. Now lay off it, Lily. God damn it.
Lily.
Actually a square, it's an apartment.
Where's our money?
Replaced a parking lot,
What?
so no one was displaced
That loan
by
you
this
took.
building.
It's payday.
I'm sorry.
People out of
I don't
occupied
have
buildings.
it right now.
So in the course of gentrification,
I guess we got a big problem, don't we?
Cooper, give him what you've got.
I ain't giving him nothing except a lessening damn manners.
Bitch.
Aren't you saying local sovereignty should be fucked because of NIMBY policies restricting total housing construction? There's a bit more undemocratic. Okay, here's like, okay, so here are a couple of general understandings.
Thank you, my lady.
You've got your money. Leave me alone.
You know what I do?
What do you want? I've got
Here are some general understandings that I have about economics, okay? In general, price controls are bad. Unless you really absolutely need them, price controls just kind of suck. Because whenever a price control shows up, the difference between an actual cost and then the price-controlled one is going to cause external fuck-ups somewhere in your economy, right? So for instance, let's say that a company would pay a $4 wage and you set a minimum wage of $20. That $16 difference is going to cause you problems. Or let's say, for instance, there's a house that would be rented at $3,000 a month and a rent control restricted to $2,000 a month. That $1,000 difference is going to cause problems. So whether that's people not investing in infrastructure, or people subleasing places like crazy for Airbnbs, or people investing in or not invest, like there's just a whole bunch of like bad shit that happens when you do price controls. Generally, that's not to say that all price controls are bad, but generally price controls are bad. Is my understanding of things, right? So if you've got a housing problem, your problem is that your demand for housing is very high, is incredibly fucking high, okay? That drives the fuck up out of prices.
Hey, wait up a
And
second.
ideally, what would happen here is you would get like more people coming in to build houses. That would be like the ideal solution. Well, there's a massive fucking demand for housing here. The prices are very fucking high. Increasing the supply of houses will, one, satisfy new business owners that come in and want to build shit, right? So you've got money there. Two, satisfy local businesses' employment needs or customer needs because more people will be moving in. Three, give people that want to move in the ability to move in. Four, decrease the general cost of housing because as the supply of housing increases, the demand for housing at very high prices decreases, right? And then the prices will go down, right? Like, it seems like the general solution, the better idea is to just build more houses. That seems to be, like, the obvious thing. So then when I look at, like, okay, well, why don't they build houses? It seems like the two things that I'm given, the two reasons are zoning and people that don't want housing.
Actually a square, it's an apartment tower. Replaced a parking lot so no one was displaced by this building. People out of occupied buildings. So in the course of gentrification,
Aren't you saying local sovereignty should be fucked because of NIMBY policies restricting total housing construction? There's a bit more undemocratic. Okay, here's like, okay, so here are a couple of general understandings.
Are you blind?
Here are some general understandings that I have about economics, okay? In general, price controls are bad. Unless you really absolutely need them, price controls just kind of suck. Because whenever a price control shows up, the difference between an actual cost and then the price-controlled one is going to cause external fuck-up somewhere in your economy, right? So, for instance, let's say that a company would pay a $4 wage and you set a minimum wage of $20. That $16 difference is going to cause you problems. Or let's say, for instance, there's a house that would be rented at $3,000 a month and a rent control restricts it to $2,000 a month. That $1,000 house, $20, that $16 difference, a company would pay a $4 shows up. The difference between an actual cost and then the price-controlled one is going to cause external fuck-up somewhere in your economy, right? So, for instance, let's say that a company would pay a $4 wage and you set a minimum wage of $20. That $16 difference is going to cause you problems. Or let's say, for instance, there's a house that would be rented at $3,000 a month and a rent control restricted to $2,000 a month. That $1,000 difference is going to cause problems. So whether that's people not investing in infrastructure or people subleasing places like crazy for Airbnbs or people investing in or not investing, like there's just a whole bunch of like bad shit that happens when you do price controls generally. That's not to say that all price controls are bad, but generally price controls are bad. Is my understanding of things, right? So if you've got a housing problem, your problem is that your demand for housing is very high, is incredibly fucking high, okay? That drives the fuck up out of prices. And ideally, what would happen here is you would get like more people coming in to build houses. That would be like the ideal solution. Well, there's a massive fucking demand for housing here. The prices are very fucking high. Increasing the supply of houses will, one, satisfy new business owners that come in and want to build shit, right? So you've got money there. Two, satisfy local businesses' employment needs or customer needs because more people will be moving in. Three, give people that want to move in the ability to move in. Four, decrease the general cost of housing because as the supply of housing increases, the demand for housing at very high prices decreases, right? And then the prices will go down, right? Like, it seems like the general solution, the better idea is to just build more houses. That seems to be, like, the obvious thing. So then when I look at, like, okay, well, why don't they build houses? It seems like the two things that I'm given, the two reasons are zoning and people that don't want houses next to them. But these seem like really dumb reasons not to build more houses. People in the Bay Area are pissed about all the new housing we're building right now because we have terrible traffic everywhere. We don't have the infrastructure to handle them anywhere. People, okay, well then why can't you do public transit? Is that impossible? Is it impossible to get any type of public transit in the Bay Area? I think that people who already own houses would not want more. Well, fuck those people! Fuck those people! Fuck them! Fuck them. The Bay Area has public transit. It's still super full. Can't they make more? How is like traffic like in London? Or what about like New York City? Don't the subways in New York City like get everything done? Like, isn't it pretty decent to get from area A to B? I've never spent much time in New York City, but my understanding in like New York City is that like if you want to take like the subway to work or whatever, like this is pretty reliable public transit for most of the city. Is that true or not? Ooh, we got some real mixed opinions in chat right now. It's true in Chicago. How many people live in Chicago, though? LA is doing the biggest public transit expansion in the Western Hemisphere. Good. Remember Seoul? That subway was God too. 650 million people. The biggest reason is that building more homes lowers the value of houses, so homeowners fight more building. Yeah, but fuck the homeowners, dude. Fuck them. That's so dumb. That's like I build a house on a beach and it's worth $10 million. They're like, oh, I want to build a house. I'm like, no, no more. My property value. Leave. Leave. Housing will always be fucked up under capitalism because they are distributed and built for profit extraction, owned by the landlord classes and the financial capitalists. When the demand for housing is high, profits go up. Therefore, they want to keep high demand by restricting production, creating artificial value. I don't think that's true, though. If you were a capitalist, wouldn't you want to be able to build more houses to extract your greater profits from more areas? Like, it seems like rent controls fuck those people up as well.
Yep.
My commute is an hour and 30 minutes from Queens, but I leave 30 minutes early in case of delays, and sometimes I'm still late. Ooh, fuck that. What is wrong with that? Of course the homeowners want to keep others out. Why would you not? Why would you let your house values go down by letting others move in? That should be part of the implicit, because you don't want to fuck over an entire economy just to keep my prices high. That's fucked up. There should be people that don't let that happen. Like, if I own a house somewhere, I don't want anything else to be built. I want everything to be fucked around me. I want the labor market to be fucked. I want the customer base to be fucked. I want all the values of all the properties to be artificially inflated because I'm trying to use government restriction to prevent other people from building houses, right? That sounds like really fucked up. Hold on, let me finish watching this.
In the world, and we continue to. I'm also proud of the.
This is textbook rent-seeking behavior. Yeah, I mean that's what it is exactly, right? Like you're spending some amount of money on government lobbying for things like preferential zoning or whatever because you think you can save that money on profits of elsewhere, right?
That in 1986, when Congress reached an agreement to control the border, to establish a guest worker program, and to have amnesty for what we were told at the time would be a limited number of people. I voted yes. It was called the Simpson-Mazzoli Act. I voted for it. President Reagan signed it. He said in his diary he was signing it because we had to get control of the border. He said in his signing statement, when they actually were at the White House signing the bill, that he hoped that this would be the decisive step towards protecting our most precious right, which is our citizenship, and doing it by having a humane control of the border.
And quakes. There's no hot button issue hotter than rent control. Even the most courageous politician quakes at the idea of opposing it. For starters, no one likes landlords. Second, those who benefit from rent control, and there are a lot of them, vote. And it has huge emotional appeal. Imagine this 6 o'clock news story. A reporter interviews a senior citizen, describing how she'll have to vacate her small apartment, her home for 25 years, if her rent control isn't maintained. What politician wants to go up against that? These are just a few of the reasons why. Once a city adopts rent control, it's almost impossible to dislodge it. But does rent control work? Does it lower or raise housing costs? And does it increase the building of more affordable housing? It might surprise you to know that nearly all economists, on the right and the left, from the late Milton Friedman to Paul Krugman, agree that the answer is no. In a survey of 464 economists in the May 1992 issue of American Economic Review, 93% said that a ceiling on rents reduces the quantity and quality of housing available.
Shell of safety. Shell of safety. Can I speak to the boy?
Arthur?
Hello, son. Your sister is very worried.
The boy has chosen a path, sir. The path to truth.
Well, his sister just wants to speak with him.
Arthur, I've chosen a path.
The boy has chosen a path. He's chosen safety. What path have you chosen, sir?
I'm still searching, I guess.
We are all searching. Chelonianism is about searching. What do we search for, do you think?
I don't know. Safety? Safety and meaning?
Jamie knows the truth. But of course, you may speak with him.
Exactly. If your teachings are so great, what harm can I do?
I'm not coming with you, Arthur!
Just come and speak with Mary, then make up your mind!
Leave me alone, Arthur! I didn't ask for your help!
What?
Available. Why the unanimity? Because it's an accepted economic principle that government imposed price controls, and that's what rent control is, always lead to price distortions, in this case rents. This applies everywhere, but let's focus on New York City, a place where I have
we gotta do this the hard way!
New York has the biggest rental market in the country. Of the city's 8.2 million residents, 5.5 million rents. And these 5.5 million renters live in about
Jamie, your
2.2
sister's
million
worried about
apartments or rented houses.
None of your damn business!
Every year, a city board votes on how much owners of rent-regulated apartments will be able to charge their tenants for the following years,
For
1 year or
Christ's
2
sakes,
years.
Jamie, just hold up a
The
minute!
board members base their decisions not on supply
Come on,
and demand,
you ain't
but on
stupid.
estimate
You can
how
see
much
this is
costs
crazy.
such as fuel and insurance have risen. And of course, how much of an increase voters will tolerate.
Just stop and let's
Think
talk
what
about
means.
this!
The longer you stay in your apartment, the more you benefit from below-market rents. Or to put it another way, why would you ever leave your rent-controlled apartments? The late screenwriter Nora Ephron once noted with some
What are you gonna do,
she moved
Jamie?
into a
Live the rest of your life in the
on
mountains
Upper West
with those
Side
people?
in 1980 and stayed there for 24 years, paying 1/3 the true market rent. The well-off who benefit from great rents have the resources
What are you
and part
talking
from the money
about?
they've saved
You
on
ain't no
rents
killer.
to make their own improvements to their units, paint, redecorate, and so on.
Christ alive! What the hell? Please, Arthur! I'm a man now. I found something. A calling.
You're just a kid! You're making a big mistake!
I'm not taking advice from you. You're an outlaw. You leave me alone. They're good people. I'm warning you, Arthur Morgan. Leave me alone.
Please, kid. put that gun down.
I warn you, Arthur! I don't want to live anymore!
Kid, just calm down.
Leave me alone!
Wait, what?
I warn you, Arthur! I don't want to live anymore!
Kid, just calm down.
Leave me alone!
Oh, shit!
I warn you, Arthur! I don't want to live anymore!
Kid, just calm down.
Leave me alone!
Now calm down. Let's go see your sister.
Okay. Okay.
It's okay, kid.
Have I been a terrible fool, Arthur?
I don't know. I don't know enough about it. But one thing I do know. There ain't no shame in looking for a better world.
I missed you, Arthur. Are you and Mary sweet on one another again?
Oh, no. That's all a long time ago, son.
Well, this wasn't how I thought today would turn out.
It's been a long time, Jamie Gillis. You were a kid last time I saw you. And didn't try to kill yourself.
You know, you taught me how to ride a horse.
Too well, apparently. Chelonia, though? Really? You'd fall for that?
They were very nice to me. They're decent.
I'm sure. Please tell me you didn't give them any money.
Of course I did. They rely on charitable donations.
Jesus, Jamie, come on.
I just wanted to believe that there might be something good coming my way one day. Guess that's dead in the water.
With the turtles.
Shut up. All Father kept telling me was, you won't amount to anything. You're not enough of a man. I had to get away. I couldn't take it anymore.
Forgive me, but your father's a bully and a coward. Don't listen to him.
Hey, don't talk about him like that.
What do you want me to say, Jamie? He's a good father? A nice man?
He won't be happy I saw you.
Please send him my worst regards.
Thing is, he's right. I'm not good at anything.
Come on, that ain't true. Tell me something you like. Don't think too hard.
Apples, I guess.
Apples?
Yeah, I love apples.
Okay. I was thinking more along the lines of carpentry or horses or something, but... All right, go work in an orchard then.
By that token, you must really like shooting and robbing people.
I only like shooting young idiots who run away from me when I'm trying to help them.
Father told me what you do.
I'm sure he did.
Hey, are you still with Dutch and... what was his name? Hester?
Hosea. Yep, still the same, sort of.
And Annabelle and Bessie?
I'm afraid they're dead.
Shit. Maybe Mary did make the right choice.
No doubt. But none of it is anything like the nonsense you read in the newspapers.
So, are you two getting back together?
I told you, no. Just ask me for a favor.
You know Barry Linton's dead? Pneumonia.
She told me.
So the door's open, so to speak.
Here we are. waiting inside.
Make it quick or I might run off again.
Jamie! Jamie! Come home, please. Father's been very sad.
Father wouldn't know sadness if it died in his bed. But I'll come home for you.
My boy. My sweet boy. Come on. Oh, Arthur. Thank you. Thank you.
It's good to see you, Mary.
And you, Arthur. And you. Oh, you'll never change. I know that.
I feel like the luckiest man alive, and I feel like a fool. That woman confuses me and plays me for a fiddle like no one else alive. I trust I will not make a god-awful fool of myself once more, but somehow I imagine I shall.
Economic principle that government impose price controls, and that's what rent control is, always lead to price distortions, in this case rents. This applies everywhere, but let's focus on New York City, the place where I have concentrated my research. New York has the biggest rental market in the country. Of the city's 8.2 million residents, 5.5 million rents. And these 5.5 million renters live in about 2.2 million apartments or rented houses. Every year, a city board votes on how much owners of rent-regulated apartments will be able to charge their tenants for the following year's 1 year or 2 year leases.
Way too old.
The board members base their decisions not on supply and demand, but on an estimate of how much costs such as fuel and insurance have risen. And of course, how much of an increase voters will tolerate. Think about what this means.
Sure.
The longer you stay in your
I'm
apartment,
so happy.
the more you
I ain't
benefit
had a
from
friend
below
in
market
a
rents.
long time.
Or to put it another way, why would you
long
ever
time.
leave your rent-controlled apartments?
My last friend
The late
died.
screenwriter Nora
my
Ephron
fault.
once noted
They
with
said it
some
was,
satisfaction
but
that
they
she moved
was
into
wrong.
a 5-bedroom apartment on the Upper
fun
West
being with
Side
you,
in
mister.
1980 and stayed
Can I
there
hold
for
you a second,
24
mister?
years, paying
Can I?
1/3 the true market rent. The well-off who benefit from great rents have the resources, in part from the money they've saved on rents, to make their own improvements to their units, paint, redecorate, and so on. But what about the majority of renters who have much
Okay,
less
just
money?
quickly.
They're not so lucky because landlords can't afford to improve
That
or
felt
even maintain
good.
their rent-controlled
It's
apartments.
nice to be held sometimes.
Since they can't raise
We
rents
used to
to
hold each
market
other in the
levels,
war.
they can only make a profit by
sad
keeping
eyes,
their
mister.
costs to an absolute minimum. And there's another reason landlords have little incentive to maintain
kindness.
rent-controlled apartments. They have no fear that their renters will move out. And if they do, there's always a long line of people waiting to move in. And consider one more: raise rents to market levels. But what about the majority of renters who have much less money? They're not so lucky because landlords can't afford to improve or even maintain their rent-controlled apartments. Since they can't raise rents to market levels, they can only make a profit by keeping their costs to an absolute minimum. And there's another reason landlords have little incentive to maintain rent-controlled apartments. They have no fear that their renters will move out. And if they do, there's always a long line of people waiting to move in. And consider one more unintended consequence of rent control. Why would investors build new apartments for anyone but the very wealthy in a city where rents are controlled? The answer, of course, is that they rarely do. The vast majority of new residential construction in New York is geared to the wealthy who can pay rents above the controlled limit or who are willing to buy their apartments outright as condos or co-ops. These expensive units are well beyond the reach of the middle class, let alone those lower on the economic stratum. In sum, rent control, 1, hurts the people it's supposed to help. 2, give landlords little incentive to improve their housing stock. 3, discourages construction of new housing for all but the rich. And the voters love it. So rather than dream of the day when New York or Los Angeles and other rent-controlled cities might abandon the self-destructive urban policy, maybe we should see this as a cautionary tale that well illustrates a valuable maxim. Be wary of government programs bearing gifts. Like the famous horse that destroyed an ancient city, they come with all sorts of problems. I'm Nicole Gelinas, a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute for Prager University.
Join Prager University, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and sign up for free at prageru.com.
Yep.
There's no hot...
There There is no fixed relationship between the number of people and the amount of space needed to house them. Whether or to what extent children will share rooms or have their own individual rooms, the time at which young adults will move out to form their own households, and the extent to which single kinfolks or roomers live with families are all variable according to the price of housing and the incomes of the people making the decisions. Virtually every American ethnic group, for example, has at some point or other gone through a stage at which taking in roomers was a pervasive social phenomenon. Artificially low prices under rent control facilitates the disaggregation of existing families or living units into smaller groups of individuals with separate households, and facilitates the use of more space per person in existing households, so that very quickly no vacancy signs appear almost everywhere. After that point, people who find themselves having to move for compelling reasons may have to double up or live in garages or other makeshift overcrowded housing, precisely because of the general use of more space per person in the country as a whole. While young couples with growing families may find themselves increasingly overcrowded in housing that is once adequate, older couples whose children have left home have little financial incentive to give up larger housing units that the family once needed, because rent control.
If you could help me with these shackles, I just might have a chance. So how'd you end up like this? Just shoot the damn chains already, come on! Just shoot the chains off, please. I'm done for otherwise. Easy enough. Oh, yes. Yes! Perfect! Ah, thank you. I got no money to give you, but I think I might got something even better. Some of those fellows talked about this old crone up north of Strawberry. Got herself a tidy sum locked away. Maybe just stories, but they were sure excited. Oh, yeah? Why'd I be interested in that, huh? I don't know, just a hunch. It's up to you, friend.
Hey, how you doing, Econ students? This is Mr. Clifford. Welcome to ACDC Econ. Right now I'm going to talk about price controls.
Yep.
Right now, at the end of 2014, gas prices in California are around $4 a gallon. It's actually a little less, but let's just keep it simple and say that equilibrium price per gallon.
Today we'll be looking at rent controls, an application of what we've done already, because rent controls are simply a type of price ceiling. Let's get going. Here's the list of the effective price ceilings, which you've now seen many times. I'm going to talk about each one of these in the context of rent controls, except for a loss in gains from trade. That doesn't really introduce any new issues, so I won't talk about that. Let's talk about the other items, however. Okay, rent controls create shortages. Let's do our usual diagram, except this time on the horizontal axis we have the quantity of rental apartments. On the vertical axis we have price. Here's our demand and here's our supply. The main thing we want to add here is that the supply of apartments in the short run is going to be very inelastic. Why? Well, in the short run, the apartments are simply there. They're already built. There's not much you can do to change the supply of apartments. Now, this is not quite true. You can take an apartment which is about to come onto the market and turn it instead into a condo. You might switch some uses. You might tear down an apartment early, things like that. But basically, the supply is going to be fairly inelastic in the short run. So, we have a controlled rent. This means that there will be a shortage in the short run, and it's given by this amount on the diagram. Note that most of the shortage comes from an increase in the quantity demanded when you push the rent below the market equilibrium rent, when you lower the rent. Only a little bit of the shortage comes from a decrease in the quantity supplied. In the long run, however, the long run supply is going to be much more elastic than the short run supply. So in the long run, the shortage will get much worse. In the long run, what will happen is that fewer apartments will be built, more apartments will be allowed to run down, to become dilapidated, to slowly go off the market. Apartments will be turned into condominiums. Instead of building apartments, people will build car garages, people will build other types of housing, and so forth. So in the long run, the shortage from a rent control gets much worse than in the short run. Here's an interesting graph from Ontario, Canada, showing how rent controls can reduce the number of new units being built. So prior to rent control even being debated, there were about 30 to 40,000 new units being built every year in Ontario, Canada. After rent control was put into place in 1975, there were fewer than 10,000 new units being built every year. Also note that the number of new apartments being built, which might be rent controlled, declined even before rent control was put into place. And that makes perfect sense. An apartment has got to pay for itself over 30 or 40 years. They're very durable, long-lived assets. So if you hear today that in the next year or two, rents may be controlled, you're going to say, well, I don't want to build this apartment unit. You know, it's not going to be profitable anymore. I was expecting so many rents for the next 30 or 40 years. That's now been cut. A unit is not going to be profitable. I don't want to build it anymore. And that's exactly what we saw. A discussion in rent controls reduced the number of apartments being constructed. We've also put, by the way, the number in red, the number of non-rental controlled housing that was being built at the time. And you can see it didn't change very much. So this illustrates that it was the rent control itself and not other factors in the market, such as the state of the economy, which reduced the number of rent-controlled apartments being built every year. So this illustrates how rent controls can create a shortage by reducing the supply. As with other types of price controls, rent controls create reductions in product quality. So the rent controls reduce the return to landlords from renting apartments, and owners are going to respond to that price control by trying to cut costs. So they're going to reduce maintenance. They're going to slow down the repairs to elevators. They're not going to mow the lawns as often. After all, they can still sell just as.
I'm working. I'm working.
Pay the money. How's that dead looking now?
Be reasonable.
You borrowed money from my business partner, Herr Strauss. You owe him, you took the money. He wants it back. What's not to understand?
What?
Where's our money?
I don't have it.
Sell your place.
We already owe more than it's worth.
Then sell your wife, or your family, or something. We ain't your idea of charity. Is that clear?
Thomas!
What are you looking at?
Thomas!
I said, what you looking at, woman?
My husband isn't well. If we could just have more...
Like I said, we ain't nobody's idea of charity. Get us the money.
the thing that connects the bottom of your glands to your foreskin can be short. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why you can have a legitimate circumcision, but to sit here and throw that as an excuse for why, like, it's how many.
And I thought at the time I learned a very painful lesson. The liberals were quite happy to get amnesty. It turned out that instead of 250,000, there were probably 3 million people who got amnesty. The liberals pocketed that and then walked off. They didn't keep their word on setting up a legal system of temporary workers, which was key to what Reagan was trying to do. They didn't keep their word in terms of controlling the border. So here we are today, 1986 to today, 32 years later. We still don't have control of the border. We still don't have a legal system of temporary workers, which would extend legal immigration to people who want to come.
Here, I'm curious, okay? Because controlling the border is important. I don't know if I've ever said that before, just because I'm usually arguing against racist Republicans, but I think that controlling the border is actually important. Like, that's probably something that needs to be fucking done. Like, our border is kind of a joke. I wonder if you had a plan in place where you were like, listen, we're gonna crack down on the fucking border shit. 1. 2, everybody that's here now is gonna be legalized because we're not fucking deporting 13 million people. It's just so beyond stupid, okay? And then 3, we're gonna overhaul the immigration system so it doesn't take 20 fucking years to get here from another country. Do you think people would come together on that, or do you think everybody would agree on both sides?
Come here briefly for economic reasons and then go back home. Now, it's possible to design an effective, enforceable system, but that's not what the left wants to do. The left very clearly
Luo brought home a new dog today. Look how cute he is.
Come to the U.S. as quickly as possible. You see that when the Democrats in San Francisco adopt a new law that allows people who are here illegally to vote.
Vote? My mom unironically believes this stupid shit.
So literally in San Francisco, they're going to have local elections. And even if you have broken the law, you are here illegally, you can still vote.
Oh, for local elections or whatever. Never mind. I thought he was going to talk about the driver's license shit. Some people are saying that in some local elections, your citizenship status shouldn't matter. But, hey, you should champion that if you're a Republican, because you're all about states' rights and small governments. There's no constitutional amendment, or there's no part of the Constitution that says that local governments can't decide who they want to vote in their elections as long as it's not a federal election. That's your God-given fucking right as a fucking, as your own municipality, your own fucking district.
Interested in my propositions.
Of course.
Your own fucking city, whatever. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
As though you were an American citizen. Stacey Abrams, who's running for governor in Georgia as a Democrat, made very clear the other day when she said the blue wave is going to affect both documented and undocumented workers, as though in her mind, people who are here illegally count fully as much as people who are citizens and people who are here legally. And this is an enormous problem. In the newsletter I'm doing today, that'll come out both at foxnews.com and at Gingrich Productions. I outline what George Orwell, the extraordinary writer who wrote 1984 and wrote...
I love how Republicans always think... I love how everybody takes, like, parts of 1984 that they always think supports their fucking shit, and then, like, they think that that's what, Oh, my God! Conservatives that think that George Orwell would be, like, supportive of, like, conservatives of today or Trump are always the funniest. Well, if you look at 1984, the government controlling everything, that's kind of like when liberals say that we have to call trans people by their preferred pronouns. It's almost like exactly what 1984 is, was saying. Ignoring the entire fact that the majority of 1984 focused on things like toxic nationalistic concepts, like borderline fascist concepts, right? The whole idea of the Ministry of Truth was to repurpose news and to make fake news that was preferential to its own country. I don't know who kind of does that kind of shit, right? Or the idea that perpetual conflict will always keep the lower classes or whatever in line so that we can pretend that we're at war with other people to keep everybody with a common enemy. Oh, who goes to war all the time? But I mean, like, okay, dude.
Animal Farm, and had really a passion about totalitarian mindsets, about systems of power lying, and about the fact that, as he put it in a wonderful essay called Politics in the English Language. And his argument is that if you look at politics, that politics corrupts the English language. People say things they don't mean, and they use words to cover up what they really mean. And he walks you through.
Kind of like when you call black people thugs. I'm sorry.
In Politics in the English Language. A really remarkable, thoughtful essay on how governments lie. Remember, 1984 was not about the Soviet Union. 1984 was about a totalitarian government in London lying to people all the time. And so in the Orwell model, he would understand exactly what we've been told. Political correctness says you're not allowed to talk about...
I love how it's always political correctness is like the fucking thing. Like 1984 was literally about political correctness. Like fucking Christ, end your videos on Facebook.
Illegal immigrants are supposed to be undocumented because that sounds softer. You're not allowed to talk about political activists. If I said to you, 4,000 political activists are trying to cross the American border, that's a totally different feeling than if I tell you there are 4,000 refugees. And if you watch the left-wing media, it's always on the side of the immigrant. It's always on the side of those who would undermine...
Anyone who cites 1984, like, yeah, no shit. 95% of people that cite... You should read 1984 just so that every time somebody cites it, you can say, like, oh shit, you didn't actually read the fucking book, right? How many times does somebody, like, oh, 1984, that's a book about mass government surveillance. What? No, it's not. What the fuck are you talking about? That's like a very small aspect of the entire fucking story. That's not even like a central fucking theme. I kind of, but like, yeah, there's a ton of people that will like talk, like, oh, like 1984, that's a book about, about how Big Brother wants to watch all your shit and get rid of political correctness and blah, blah. And I was like, not what? Okay.
It's always
like I think the whole center part. It's been a while, but like their whole center chunk where they're in that fucking room reading the book upstairs, isn't it essentially about like the evils of class warfare? Isn't that like what a whole central part of the book is? The fact that like the ruling class will always try to keep the middle class and the lower class in perpetual war with one another, and that the ruling class will change from time to time, but the middle class and lower class will always be in a perpetual state of conflict. Like, it kind of sounds like capitalism a little bit. No, like, wasn't that like a central part of the fucking story? Like the whole middle part of the book was about that? I don't know, dude. Maybe I could be wrong, but...
Always on the side of those who don't care about the rule of law. And notice what they're trying to say. They're deliberately establishing caravan in the hopes that the picture of the world...
It's heavily about surveillance destiny, but to keep ideology in line. I mean, sure, like, surveillance is like a tool of it, but it's not like... I don't think you read 1984 and come away thinking like, oh, wow, like, that's what happens when technology gets big and there's a... It's not really about that, right? The story is about how, like, an oppressive government constantly controls its citizens and keeps everybody in line, right? I mean, like, surveillance is like a tool of that, but that's not at all the point of the story, right?
Okay.
The world will see is some innocent woman or child being confronted by an American policeman or an American soldier. these people actually are deliberately setting out to have an anti-American picture that undermines the United States, even though we accept more legal immigrants than any other country in the world. That doesn't matter if you're a left winger.
Why are we talking about like more legal, like as a, what, is this like a per capita basis, or, because I'm pretty sure in terms of accepting more like immigrants from other countries, I'm pretty sure like Sweden leads something like that, right? I don't think that the United States does on a per capita basis. Sweden has like an immense amount of immigrants based on their native population. I don't think America comes close to that. Now in terms of raw number of people, sure. Would you call the propaganda a minor theme? It's a big part when the war switched mid-story without a change. No, propaganda, no, propaganda is a huge part of 1984, right? The whole I forget what the main character's name is, but it's not like John, is it? But like that's his job, right? Is to work in the Ministry of Truth, where you take bits of news and then you censor them for dissemination to the public. You have to change them to be pro-government. Winston, yeah, that's like a central part of the book. It's like a big part. It's like constantly changing news and making sure that the stories that are put out are always like pro-America or pro your government. Nothing is ever bad about your government, and that when people consume that media, they always come away with better feelings about the government, right?
Because that's not what you do. The very fact that people come here legally means they've accepted the American system. And that's not what the left is about. The left is about undermining the American system, not keeping it. So I think that the caravan is a very good place for us to start a new conversation. It's a simple conversation. I would say to my left-wing friends, are you really for the kind of open border that Senator Feinstein's bill would call for?
All right.
Is there? There's more people. I said Moon. People will flame me for saying Moon, but I think that Moon was mismanaged, and I think that it's beyond salvage at this point.
Okay, so I just want to make sure there aren't players you missed that didn't make it. These are all the players that you ever like mentioned as like LS approved prodigy.
No, Moon is someone that people could be like, oh well, he bombed. Okay. But on record, you won't find tweets or videos of me making the same like state or exalted statements about people that I have about these players.
You should just name it something. Like I give this player LS like prodigy stamp of approval. So
God damn it.
No, you should. I'm not even joking.
I like that,
you should. So later on, you can say yes. I approve of this player because
people with a brain can look at the list and know that I'm not shooting like bullets.
If you have an actual list, right, then you become so much more credible. Like have an actual list, like LS approved prodigy. Like I give this player LS approved prodigy.
I mean, yeah, I can make a list, but I think that like people will look at it jokingly, but people with a brain look at it like, why am I not misfiring? You know what I mean? Like, why am I not saying people that just like blank? It doesn't. Oh, Khan's in that too. I talked about Khan way before everyone else. Yeah.
So for me, right, to go into Licorice and get back into the topic, most impressive thing about Licorice is his flexibility. Usually NA players, and especially NA tops, fall into two categories. I can only play carries and I can only play tops. And that's even for Korean players. Or tanks, yeah, my bad. Tanks are top. Tanks are carries, tanks are carries. And if you go through Licorice's game, it's Poppy tank, Singed, kind of a carry, Shen tank, Hecarim carry, Urgot tank, Warren tank, Urgot tank, Shen tank, Jarvan carry, Singed carry, Akali carry. Like he flip-flops back and forth, and his performance on those champions doesn't drop. He maintains a consistent good performance on these champions like throughout. Wide champion pool, able to play both styles, like really fucking impressive for an NA rookie. And I also played him in Academy. Like we smashed him in Academy, but I will say whenever we prep versus United, we always prep for their mid lane, who was like GBM or Fox and Licorice. Like they were the solo laners for United were who I always prepped against, and Licorice was definitely a player where I felt like we need to prep versus this guy or we're gonna get wrecked.
Same. Yep.
Okay. Can we have some stats on him then?
I mean, that was the stats, like him playing multiple champions. To go into more of other stats, like what could we really talk about? Like, he's able to, the fact that he doesn't really have a signature champion, and the fact that he's great across all these champions is his stat. And like his troll rate is 0%. His feed rate is 0%. Then? He's very consistent.
We live in a world where a lot of people think that like AD carry is essential to the game right now. Like if you have a weak AD carry, it's going to be hard to be a team that wins. Like obviously Sneaky is a player who's been on Cloud9 a long time, but if you've got Jensen in the mid lane and Licorice is playing carries, how do they divide up resources in Cloud9?
Sneaky either gets Pizza Sivir and he plays utility, or he gets Kai'Sa and Xayah and they play towards him a little bit more. Or Cloud9 is one of the few teams that run triple carries or even quad carries by having like a Nocturne jungle that's like building full damage item, where they have like 4 damage dealers or carries, you want to call it. Like they are a team where they're willing to play like triple carry or even quad carries. Like they divide resources in a very like tight manner, where if they fall behind in those comps where Licorice is on a carry and Sneaky is also on a carry AD and not a utility AD, the comp can go really wrong. But they are willing to play those kind of comps.
Okay. Right, let's pick one other Cloud9 player then before we like contrast the two. So who is the other essential player? I'm gonna guess we should probably pick one of the rookies, right? One of the players that people hadn't seen until this year, because potentially big storyline for this match.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to do Zazel because I don't think we're going to see Blabber a lot, and I also don't want to see Blabber a lot. No offense to Blabber, but I think Cloud9 right now
Arthur! Arthur!
Hello, old friend. Had a good time, did you?
You going to get me out of here?
I ain't decided yet.
Real funny.
Oh, I ain't joking, cowpoke. I heard so much bluster out of your mouth these last 6 months, and now I got an opportunity to watch you be silenced.
Well, you gotta do something.
Why?
I always looked up to you, Arthur.
Well, that's your first mistake. Listen, there's one little problem. There's only one of me, and there's a whole town full of people wanting to see you swing.
You got to do something, Arthur. Maybe that steam donkey over there still works.
You might want to step back a bit.
Got any dynamite?
Let's get out of here, come on. What the hell are you doing?
He wasn't O'Driscoll.
Who do you sons of bitches think you are?
I'm gonna stamp on your goddamn corpse! We should get up.
Don't go that way. Let's get the hell out of here.
I got some unfinished business. Trust me, Morgan.
Trust you? You have finally lost your damn mind.
Will you go down? Where are you, Morgan? You ain't never got handle, because I gotta kill you. Let's get out of here. Keep moving, Arthur.
Goddamn maniac. Should have left you to hang.
We're in it now, Morgan. What do you want to do? I don't go down that easy. I'll be Send them all out. Come on. Everything you got.
We should be long gone by now.
They got something of mine I ain't leaving without. You're all done. Come on. Let's clear them out. Look out. We got more coming in.
Yep. I see him.
Hell's coming for you right now. Oh, I'm gonna get
You crazy or something?
Let's go. Where are we going? Making a house call. There's more of these morons. You wait! Let's go. Where are we going? Making a house? Oh. Ignore these morons. We really should get out of here. Calm yourself, woman. Like I said, I need to see someone. Skinny! Get out here! Skinny! It ain't Skinny, Micah. It's Norman. Oh. You always was a letdown, you fat sack of crap. Excuse me a minute, Arthur. They had something of mine. My guns. I showed him, and I'll show the rest of this town!
You have really lost it this time.
Who's gonna get... See you in hell! Come on! Let's clip... Up here! Come on! The law in this town's a damn joke!
We could have been long gone, but no. You have to shoot the entire town.
The law talking. I work clean! I don't leave loose ends! Your days are over, you son of a bitch! Finish these bastards! Let's get to those horses, Morgan! Whoa! Reckon it's time we got out of here, Morgan.
Now you want to get out of here?
Damn it! How many of these sons of bitches are there?
Bastard is as good as dead.
Ah! They just ain't giving up, are they? You're gonna pay for this! Look! They're sending the whole brigade! Okay. Woo! Let's get out of here before we get any more on our tail. That was some good shooting, Morgan. Whew. I gotta hand it to you.
What the hell was that you pulled back there?
Got a bit wild, all right.
Wild? Making a house call in the middle of all that?
Ain't much I care about more than those guns.
That much is clear. Who was that fella?
Skinny? Yeah, we ran together for a while. Did a bank job down south. Didn't end well.
I saw
Now it's much stronger with than Scaring.
He was gonna let me hang.
So with Flabber, I mean, the thing I want to talk about is his most picked champions, All-Star and Braum and Thresh.
Yes, you will all be thanked profusely, I promise.
Yeah, well, you're lucky Dutch has got your back. For some unknown reason.
Them. Now other teams have like hella power too. So it's super fucking important.
TSM is a big brand. It's a you know, they did a great job of building up the team. So I don't care if you're fucking TSM when the Golden State Warriors and like fucking Cleveland Cavaliers and shit own teams in your league. You're never gonna have as much money as them, period.
The players won't go purely for money, and I don't think Golden State or 100 Thieves are gonna pay these challenger players like 200K, 300K. It's not going to be a money problem. TSM as an org is still more of a want to be an org for a lot of these younger players, and they will continue to be so at least for the next year. While you have that window of where every player wants to still come to your team, TSM really needs to take advantage. I think you guys might think the window has closed for TSM in terms of younger players wanting to go, but I don't think that's true at all. TSM, like this year, I really want to see them do like a mini boot style camp and pick up these like potential younger players. Like who knew who the fuck Blabber was? Who knew who Zazel or Licorice was? I think an answer I might get is there's no good NA talent. There is no good NA talent because we're not looking for them. Like actively look for them, and I do think there are going to be hidden gems.
Oh, that angle never made any sense to me. There's no talent. It's like, well, you don't allow any of them to come through, or you put them on the shit teams, and then when they don't win, you go, oh, you garbage, get out the league. So that never made any sense. Two factors here, okay. One is, first of all, every excuse you want to give me for TSM, just compare it to Fnatic, mate. They've rebuilt their entire squad 3 times and made it to Worlds playoffs numerous occasions.
I'm props to Fnatic.
They've taken rookies in again and again and again. They've taken in Febervern and fucking Hooney and Rainover. They've taken in Whippo and Caps and Brock. So these are nobodies.
Okay, you're calling it excuses. I'm just giving my point of view and like the stuff I know.
No, we just have a different definition of the word excuse, mate. I don't even say that an excuse isn't legit. I'm saying that if you always let your excuses limit you, you'll never improve. Everyone has, that's why we have that saying. Excuses are like arseholes. Everyone has them and they all stink.
Okay.
There you go. And the other factor is this. Second factor. The reason why that angle that everyone from NA always goes with, Europe's bigger. You can literally buy all the players in Europe, you cunts. They literally will all go because you have more money. So what you're saying is you have 2 regions you can pick from. Europe has 1, and ergo Europe has an unfair advantage. Like, how does that make any sense?
Literally, they can pay more than the Korean teams. You can literally just bring good Koreans over, which is what they've been doing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think going Korean route is wrong. I think getting European talent is still okay, especially if it's for long term. I don't want to see TSM go that route. They don't need additional Korean players, and they don't need additional European players if it means, what is it? They're only there for a year or 2.
Yes. By the way, that's one thing I will give TSM props for. I actually thought it was the right move the last few seasons to not have any Koreans. Because for me, like, I always used to say this, Lost Boy was like an advantage, but he was also eventually going to be a disadvantage. Because it's one less person to be a primary shot caller. He's never going to play for 10 years. He's already at the end of his career, you know. It's like as much as he helps you, he also is going to be the limiting factor that you're going to have to replace him eventually. So it's like I always used to use the analogy of it's like a band-aid, you know. You put it on for now to fix the team, but eventually you have to heal the wound, you know. You can't just expect that to work forever.
I mean, all players in the end do need to be replaced. I don't think that's just special to Lust, but yeah, I mean, all players need to be replaced eventually. No one plays forever.
Well. So what you're saying is the title of this episode, Bjergsen needs to be replaced.
Sure, like
end quotes, Loco Doco, 2018. P.S. Fuck Reginald. He should be replaced also.
At a certain point in time, Bjergsen needs to be replaced. This isn't the year.
Right, take the square brackets. You know what to do, Reddit. Square brackets is where it's at. Delete the part. Not this year. And there we go. There's your title. Right, is there a last topic we've got before we end this thing, Loco? Come on, you've got to have a good one for Monty. Come on.
I mean, we kind of discussed like future of TS. The past, the present, and the future is.
Understand this at all? Hey, over here! Senor, can I show you something?
What's the problem?
Problem? No, there's no problem. Quite the contrary. Well, there is a problem. For me, but not for you.
All right. I ain't got time for
No, wait! Give me a minute of your life. I might just change it forever. I'm sure you will have heard of me. Maximo Cristobal Valdespino, the renowned explorer.
Can't say I have.
There has been much written about me. I once had high tea with the Viceroy of India. I helped liberate South America. I've climbed mountains and swum across seas. I have had many women. I've spent the last 3 months hunting treasure on the American frontier. Beautiful country. Reminds me a lot of Almeria. But tomorrow I set sail for the island of Shikoku in the Japanese archipelago in search of the legendary Tokushima Sapphire.
Well, Good for you.
No, hold on. You see this map here? It was made by the Jackhole Gang. They rob banks all the way from here to California.
Yeah, I know who the Jack Hall gang are.
Oh, them you have heard of, but me? Huh. Well, rumor has it they buried gold somewhere in this area, but were killed before they could retrieve it. They created 2 maps to ensure it was well hidden. This is the first and should lead you to the second. You just need to follow the landmarks drawn here.
Me?
Yes! Unfortunately, I am out of time now, but I am prepared to sell it to you for the low price of $10. A trifling investment for a man such as you, given the potential returns. Well, $10 and it's yours.
What the hell? Why not?
A very wise investment. I wish you the best of luck.
Yep.
Is there a topic?
Come on.
Just a fun question.
All right, I've got one for you, Monty.
Okay.
What do you hate the most about TSM and/or TSM players and/or TSM staff and/or TSM fans?
I actually, I think Reggie's grown up a lot. And so
it's not as fun anymore, is it? When
it's not, it
mature?
isn't, unfortunately. It really, I respect what they've built. It's mostly just the idiot TSM fans, but a lot of that stuff has changed. I mean, we're talking, just to be clear, like a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you guys are still so salty. I'm really not salty at TSM anymore. I think that they treat their players well by all means. So I'm not really that angry. And I think the TSM fans have calmed down a lot. It was mostly this ridiculous behavior in the past that I think was shooting themselves in the foot. And they were just, they were sucking their own dick, basically. And they weren't even good at it.
You want to pick up that analogy, Loco?
I'm okay.
So I think right now it's a lot has changed, and I do hope they do some of these things. But it was when they were on top and the way that they were presenting themselves publicly in NA, and then their actions and even their gross, honestly, like reality TV content where Reggie's running around shouting at people until they cry. It was just disgusting to watch. It was the behavior was just indefensible, I think. And imagine if that kind of content was sponsored today. It'd be ridiculous.
I think a lot of people. I think you've done some dumb shit when you were in your early 20s. I definitely done some dumb shit. Unfortunately for me and Andy and somewhat you, our dumb shit that we did in our early 20s is recorded and presented to the internet for the masses to see.
And like I said, all credit to Reggie. He's built a great brand.
A little picture card?
Yeah, I'll pay a good price.
Okay. Here.
Nothing I haven't got. The value is in completing the set. Sometimes I'll smoke up to 200 cigarettes in one day, just so I can keep opening the packs. I wish I could explain to you the pleasure and the pain I get out of collecting these babies.
Sure. It sounds,
thrilling? Yeah, it is. Not to mention the vast amounts of life-reaffirming cigarettes I get to smoke. Oh, and the amount of money? A veritable fortune, sir.
Fortune?
Oh, sure. A complete set of any series is worth a fortune. Yeah, look at this. Gunslingers. Over here, circus freaks. Yes. Meow meows of the desert. So rare.
I never knew.
Sure.
How much?
Well, it depends on the rarity, sir.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. But if you ever get a complete set, I can take it off your hands.
You'd pay me.
A fair price. Now you send them to me right here. Phineas D. Ramquat, at your service. I gotta run. This is my train. Look me up, okay? Think about this deal. Only a complete set. That's where the value lies.
Three, two. What the fuck were you saying, Joey Diaz?
I said that once you're clean for 29 days without smoking reefer, that's it. Why go back?
What?
Yeah.
I like it.
No. If I fucking stayed clean from reefer for 29 days, I'd let my lungs fucking heal from the abuse I've inflicted on them the last 30 fucking
What
years.
about edibles? What about spray?
First of all,
the Jumbo spray?
First of all, I haven't had an edible since, like, I broke it in Boston September 29th. So out of respect for Sober October, I didn't do an edible. I haven't done edibles. Something was wrong with my stomach. So I figured out I was lactose intolerant.
Lactose intolerant?
Lactose intolerant. I fucking eat mozzarella cheese or milk, and I'm farting up. You know, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I had to cut that out of my diet. No mozzarella cheese. Light on the American cheese now. No Swiss, no more. No Cuban sandwiches.
Really?
It's fucking crazy. And then I had to cut out. The edibles would give me a weird feeling. Like
what?
It had just gone. It had just gone somewhere else, and I didn't like the hunger issues.
Oh, the munchies.
The hunger issues after 11 o'clock were just monstrous. Like, here I am working hard to lose weight. I'd stick to it, and then I go home. I start with an apple, another apple, a banana, another banana. Then you got to bust out the salami sandwich with the fucking American. You know, it was just getting bad. I could not control it. Uncontrollable. The hunger from edibles every minute after 11 o'clock for me was uncontrollable.
Well, you get blitzkrieg. You don't just get like a little fucked up.
No, and it starts early. It was starting early, 2 in the afternoon, then pop another 2 at fucking 6.
Do you like vaporizing?
No.
No, just smoking.
If
you're worried about your lungs, you know.
I take vapors at a hotel.
Like a vape
to get
pen?
the party started in the morning. While I'm having coffee in my hotel room, writing my notes for the thoughts of the day. Mm-hmm. Because I don't wake up with hunger. See, that was my problem all those years. I would eat till 1. If you want to be a fat fuck, don't eat till 1 when you wake up, because then you got to make up for it the rest of the day. So now I have to force myself to eat.
What do you mean?
Because a lot of you guys like the intermittent fasting. I can't live with that.
What do you mean?
My shit goes up and down. My blood pressure, my blood sugar. So I could never intermittent fast.